Hi, everyone. Welcome to the next episode of the Bay Street Capital Holdings podcast titled How'd You Do It and Why Should I Care? This series aims to highlight women doing amazing work in various industries. So today we are so lucky to be joined by Andrea Atkins, who is marketing manager at Google. Hi, Andrea. Lovely to have you on the show.
Hello, thanks for having me.
So I guess let's start off with an introduction and also the big question of the day, which is how'd you do it and why should I care?
Sure. As you said, my name's Andrea. I work at Google Cloud in higher education. My job is to make cloud computing accessible for folks in higher ed. So that's faculty and students and researchers. And it's been definitely a long journey. But yeah, I love my role and it's great.
That's awesome. So my next question is, what inspired you to join the industry? Did you know you wanted to work in tech from a young age, or was it something you discovered in college?
Oh, sure. That's a great question. So I knew I wanted to be in tech. I thought I wanted to be a developer. So I went to school for computer science, started working an internship as an engineer, and I hated it. Not that I hated programming, but the culture was very different. I thought I would be building, amazing products and apps right out of the gate, but no, I was actually like updating legacy software and like old library card catalog. It was it was rough. I ended up going back to school. I got an MBA and then I got a master's in marketing. So then I had a strange set of skills. And I was like, how can I pull these together into a single career? I started doing more research. I started learning about digital marketing, which is where most of my background is from. So, of course, Google AdWords was becoming big, Facebook ads were being created, and there's a lot of tech that is required to make the digital marketing stack work. And so that is where I started. I started building websites, I started doing online marketing, and yeah, eventually I found my way into data science and analytics. I started working with a startup here that focused on marketing analytics and artificial intelligence. And my skills in data science got better, and I just kept going. I was looking for a way to kind of stand out from other marketers in my field. I'd been at agencies before that, and decided to go the data science route because, of course, now we are all drowning in data, and someone has to make sense of it. So yeah, that's how I got here.
That's such a cool story. And you mentioned that you went back to school after you finished your computer science degree. But I guess other than school, what were the best resources that helped you along in your journey?
Oh, I think the best resource for me, actually, as cliche as it sounds, was LinkedIn. Being able to go onto LinkedIn and say, this person is in this role. What is their background? What is their specialty? How did they get there? And just sending emails saying, do you have 15 minutes to talk to me about your role? Do you like it? What's it like? Um, yeah, I think that was probably the biggest thing for me. I definitely didn't want to start a new career and then not like it again. So, not that computer science is bad. I encourage everyone to take computer science. But yeah, I think understanding what field you want to be in and what the needs of that field are and finding ways to differentiate yourself um, are probably the most important things. I started writing a blog and then I published a book and always looking for ways to stand out, especially now online. I mean, you can
Hmm.
do anything. You don't need a publisher to write a book. You can start a podcast. You can have a YouTube channel, and that really counts. That really counts.
That's awesome and great advice for anyone who's sort of thinking whether they should start something during the pandemic. Just go for it, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's never been easier. It's never been easier.
Yeah,
So, absolutely.
for sure. And you seem like, you spoke to a lot of people on LinkedIn and you also
Mhm.
went back to school. But were there any lessons that you wish you knew before starting in your industry?
Oh, any lessons? Um, I think the biggest lesson I wish I had known is that everyone graduating with me with my degree would have exactly the same background and would be going after exactly the same jobs and that we would all look exactly the same. Like I wish I had started blogging when I was in school. Um, yeah, I would have definitely put me ahead of the game to have that differentiation coming out of school. I didn't really realize that your marketing degree is going to look the same, or even your computer science degree is going to look the same across the board. Like, you really need to put in the time, take volunteer work, put together a portfolio that is strong and that plays to your strengths. I really wish I'd known that when I first started.
No, very important advice, and good advice for the young professionals out there is to differentiate yourself, because at the end of the day, it's a very competitive market.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's definitely very competitive. Um, I also didn't understand how many applications recruiters actually get. I didn't understand that recruiters may not actually be from your field. So they may not know what you can actually bring to the table. So having that proof and putting together a portfolio is really important. I ended up taking projects on Elance, which is now Upwork. But you can do Mechanical Turk. I mean, there are so many platforms now to look for extra work. And so coming in armed with a portfolio is priceless, for sure.
For sure. Great advice. And looking over the span of your career, what would you say was your biggest failure, and what did you learn from it?
Biggest failure. Um, I think taking the first job offer that I was always offered was probably my biggest failure.
That's interesting. What makes you say that?
I I don't know. I think when you're looking for work and you know you need work, you don't always really evaluate the opportunity as well as you should. Like, I definitely, for the first few roles, definitely was not talking to other employees. I definitely wasn't looking them up in the news to find out their diversity policies or their pay. Like, I wasn't negotiating pay for a long time, which is awful. Don't do that. Nobody, everyone needs to learn how to negotiate pay. But I think for a long time, I just didn't have the confidence to have those conversations. And so, yeah, major failure, because it sets you back. It sets you back. And then you're constantly catching up to get more pay and to find
Yeah.
those cushier opportunities.
For sure, and I'm glad you brought that up. Actually, I think there's a statistic out there which mentions that women are least likely to, ask for a pay rise or negotiate their pay. So we definitely need to change the culture surrounding that.
Absolutely, absolutely. And men negotiate pay. And I think watching men negotiate pay, like if you ever go onto YouTube and you can see videos, that is the coolest thing. I even have a coworker on my team who negotiated his pay, and I was like, how did you do that? But yeah, it's definitely different. Our mindset, I think, is different in asking for what we deserve. And that definitely needs to change.
For sure. And you've given lots of gems of advice throughout this whole conversation. But if you were to give one piece of advice to a young professional who is wanting to pursue a career in marketing, what would it be?
Don't be scared. Don't be scared. If you want to dip your toe in, if you want to find out, there are so many different roles available in marketing. There are digital marketers like me, there are brand marketers. Now there are marketing analysts and marketing operations folks. Marketing is really, really vast. Market research. So there's something for everyone. But yeah, don't be afraid to explore careers. I know I have a few books on marketing careers and roles. Don't be afraid to reach out to people and ask them what their experience has been and what they actually do in their role. Yeah, just don't be scared. Try it out and go on Upwork. Try a project, see if you like it. And if you
Great
don't,
advice.
then you'll know.
Don't be scared. I feel like that can be applied to lots of different industries as well.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of, marketing, and sort of you've been in the industry for a while now. What is one common myth about marketing that you would like to debunk?
I think one common myth is that we are all like from the show Mad Men and we just sit around drinking and smoking cigars and putting together different marketing campaigns. That is absolutely a myth. Marketing, especially now, is insanely data driven.
Mm.
So it actually does take a lot of work to come up with campaigns and to measure them properly and to make sure that you're making the impact that you want. Um, but yeah, I do feel like folks kind of had that idea of us, which is funny because that's how marketers think of people in sales. And that's not how they are at all.
That's so funny. And I'm sure you're very busy with your full-time job, but what have you read or listened to recently that's really inspired you?
Hmm. What have I read or listened to recently that's really inspired me? Um, I have not had a ton of time to read, but I do have a photojournal photojournalism book that I just got. It's called Queer Love in Color, and it's just a book of queer couples and the story of how they met. And I think it's very inspiring. It was beautifully done. I just got it last week, and I'm loving it.
Oh, that's so lovely.
Mhm.
And then who are three people in your life who have been the most influential to you?
I don't know that I have three, but I definitely have two because I have twin daughters. I'm a single mom.
Oh,
My daughters are 16 and they are very inspiring because they are not afraid of anything. And they just leap first, whereas I'm much more analytical. I'm very much the planner. But they are not like me at all. They will just leap and try new things. And I love that.
oh, that's so lovely. And finally, to wrap up our conversation, what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself at any point in your life?
Mm, keep trying. Keep trying until you find the right fit.
Mm.
Yes. Don't be afraid to try again. Don't be afraid to go back to school. Don't be afraid to take another class. Like, I still take classes all the time. Keep trying, keep learning. Yeah.
That's so lovely. And thank you so much. That's a lovely note to end on. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today, Andrea. It was lovely to hear your story and also to learn more about you.
Oh, thanks so much for having me. This is fun.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.